Ah, yes, another Bruce Willis low budget movie. While he gives up, I keep watching and hoping. Alright, so this is the review for Cosmic Sin. It stars Bruce Willis, Frank Grillo, and it's a sci-fi action that just came out. The plot of it is, it's year 2050, 524, believe it or not. That's the first one I've heard of in that range of years, of numbers. So this is 100 years after the humans started colonizing other planets. A retired general called back into service after soldiers are attacked on a remote planet by aliens. Honestly, this description sounded like Aliens 2 ripoff, but then it kind of came off, as I was watching, it kind of came off as a somewhat of mixture of Dawn of the Dead or 39 Later, or however you pronounce it, and Doom the movie, and even the TV show The Expanse. So it's a whole bunch of mixture stuff while being its own thing. The first thing I noticed right away is the special effects are pretty cheap looking in certain spots, and most of the other spots, most of the movie, you know, it was okay. It was okay. It was a kind of B movie type of, kind of like how the first season of Expanse was type of thing, or even I would say still is up until season 5 of the background effects. It has a tint to this, and it's kind of the same type of tint that you get in these. I wouldn't say the Expanse per se, but it has a little bit of a feel to it. But it has the tint of kind of these filterish kind of comic book kind of horror-ish type horror type films to it, you know, in space ones, kind of like Dead Space, I guess you could say, is actually what now automatically comes to my mind. I've been trying to think of what to describe it as every time, and I've talked about other movies that have been like this. Like the last movie Bruce was cheap one that he was in, and I watched. It had horrible effects, but it has that tint to it, kind of like also Sucker Punch. Everyone but the doctor's acting was good for the most part. There was a female in here who I'm still deciding if it's her acting or if it's her character or both that's kind of off. Kind of feels like she wasn't fully giving it. So, you know, her feelings into the acting, kind of like she was a bit lazy with a kind of a light voice, if you know what I mean. So it could be either the acting or it could just be that's her character. I don't know. This is a small budget film that is project, so you're not going to get a whole lot of award-winning action. Now, I will say that Frank's acting when he was in here was definitely better than Bruce Willis's. Now, Bruce Willis's acting wasn't, you know, bad, but I think at this point, because he's old, he's given up. His voice kind of doesn't sound like it's given all of it. Like he's like really that infused into the movie. Infused, not infused. The look of the sets, the guns, the uniforms, and the war suits was pretty well done and pretty cool, in my opinion. Definitely the alien suits were pretty interesting. I found it interesting that they didn't show their face They just had a cloak, kind of war uniform on, and they had stuff covering their face. That's when they didn't possess the humans' bodies. I was a little confused at times, as there was definitely some plot holes in this and some cheesy jokes. There was definitely cheesy jokes throughout it that kept getting more and more cheesy as they went. But it wasn't like Star Wars or something like that where it's like high up, kind of in your face cheesy comments. But they were just thrown in there, kind of like you would get in a B movie. But it was enjoyable for a project film. However, the ending, I just got watched on it, and I didn't understand the freaking ending. How they got to where they were. And I won't say the ending, in case you want to watch it. Go ahead if you choose. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, you got to watch it. But, you know, people like these kind of cowards, so I know I do. But, yeah, there were some confusing spots in here, and definitely the ending was definitely confusing. So some of the time I was into it, and then I was out of it because I was confused in some spots, like I said. But yeah, again, the ending was very confusing as hell. They just went right to the place, and some people appeared and some people didn't. You know, this type of stuff. So overall, it was a what you expect from a enjoyable movie, from a small project film type of film, kind of I guess between a B movie and an indie film. So you know, it wasn't 100 perfect. You weren't going to expect it. I have seen some good perfect ones before, but it just wasn't. It was enjoyable. But I think it was more enjoyable, per se, in the first half. The second half was getting kind of stray from the storyline to being solid-ish. I mean ish. So this is what my rating is, and I try to be as fair as possible as I can with these. So yeah, I said all I could say. Again, it is what it is. It is what you would expect it is. It is a enjoyable movie for the first half. The second half, somewhat more confusing, plot holes and stuff. You know, someone gave it a 3. I gave it what I gave it. So I kind of maybe not fully agree with them on it, but I thought the star of the show was Frank Guccio, as always, or I said his name wrong, but you know, I thought he was good. I wish they would have had more in him, more of him in here, but you know, it again is what it is. So it's what you get with these films. So I love you all. Please stay safe. Please like and subscribe, and it's cool.